In recent years, we've heard more about the value of public support for the arts, whether it's through performance venues, public art, or in education. But there have also been some setbacks, whether in recent cutbacks by the MBTA or the more clouded prospects for some of Boston's theaters. Joining us with some thoughts on these developments is an advocate for the arts investment, the executive director of MassCreative, Matt Willson. Thank you very much for being with us, Matt.
Great to be here.
You've been thrown a curveball recently on some public art that was planned for some new things and even some improved things on the MBTA. So how does that make things look now?
Yeah, it's a disappointing move by the governor and his administration. The MBTA actually has the oldest public arts program in the country. For 50 years, they've been integrating arts into the design of our station and developing public art. And it was disappointing last week to find out that they've put a hold on the arts integration part of the expansion of the Green Line and some stops on the commuter line, the Blue Hill station in Mattapan, the new train station in Chelsea, and a station in Wollaston.
What about what was planned for Mattapan?
Well, it was just in the beginning of it. They were doing an outreach program, and that's one thing that T has done very well at. They do a lot of community meetings and a lot of community input to find the right artists who can really capture the sense of the neighborhood and really help to make a facility that is the neighborhoods, that it creates a good sense of place that people will want to come to. They've done it on other spots on the new Fairmont line, and the Blue Hills is a stop that was next to go, and it's very disappointing that they've put a hold on that.
No, I saw one story today in one of the papers in Boston online saying that they got to cut back on the frills. They can barely make the trains run on time here. So how can you possibly spring for art?
Right. I mean, I think that's one of the issues that we're trying to address, that for so long, a lot of our leaders had looked at art as something that's nice, but not necessary. It's a nice convenience to have, yet when you look at these stations and you look at whether it's the new stations along on the Orange Line in the Southwest Corridor, or if you look at the Red Line extension, Porter Square, the beauty of some of these stations, and a lot of people hang out at these stations waiting for trains, and to have a nice design and a vibrant area just means a lot for people. And we think it's not just a nice frill, but it's integral to the building of our public spaces.
Another way to put this is what you have when it isn't there. And I remember the old days on the Red Line. At one point, it was great in Central Square, Kendall Square, and in Dorchester. It was there was just this sterile magnet for graffiti.
Yeah, and I think it tells a lot about what kind of city we are. We could make faceless gray stations for people to be at, or we can build some vibrancy. We can invest in the creativity of our artistic community to help them envision what these neighborhoods should look like. And yes, you can see it in the stations that have recently been done. They're bright and they're vibrant, and it's just much more enjoyable to be there.
And you get more transit-oriented housing going up around them too.
Yeah, it's a sense of let's create exciting places that are healthy and vibrant, where people want to live, and it brings joy and meaning to folks' lives.
Well, one of the other things about public art, and one of the leading examples is in New York City with the High Line, is that even when you don't have trains running on a rail line, it's a spur for investment. I mean, I see buildings with signs that are right on the High Line. I mean, there's a lot of private money being made off this, so why not tap into that?
You know, I think there's starting to be more private money. A lot of it follows the public money, in that a small amount of public investment provides leverage for more private money. One of the other disappointing pieces is that the legislature 2 weeks ago passed a Percent for Art program that would have taken a percentage of state investment in their state buildings that they build and maintain to invest in art for the design and public art. It's a program that the other 5 New England states have, but Massachusetts doesn't have. The legislature passed it, but the governor vetoed it. So we're disappointed, and there's a number of opportunities for him to be investing in artists and creativity in our society, and he hasn't quite grasped that in his term.
Well, another challenge here is for Mayor Walsh in Boston. We have 3 theaters with a lot of uncertainty about their future, and can he just simply fix this with one arrangement like Tom Menino did for the Boston Ballet, or are we talking about a whole different scenario now?
Well, I think it's two things. One is a long-term sense of what do we need for theaters and what's the capacity that we need, and they're doing a study right now, which is great, through the Boston Creates program. Yet I think, in addition, there's an emergency situation with the Huntington, which is the centerpiece of the Boston theater community, hires 400 people, generates millions of dollars. They're in an emergency situation, and this is really a great opportunity for the mayor to step up and take leadership and really make sure that the Huntington stays on Huntington, because that's where they feel they need to be to keep their vibrant program going.
Yes, Huntington, the Avenue of the Arts. Thank you very much for being with us.
Great. Thanks, Chris.
Matt Willson from MassCreative.